What an intense year. Have you felt it? Because I sure the F have. Um, yeah, it's been a year. It's been a year, and I have not posted much on this channel because it's been a year. There's been a lot of endings, a lot of completions. We are in a 9 year, a snake year, baby. And it is just how she goes. So, why am I jumping on? I'm jumping on because I have a confession. I have a confession that I have been avoiding admitting to myself for a very, very long time. And it's that, without a shadow of a doubt, everything that has happened to me in these last 3.5, 4 years have been because of self-abandonment. And I want to share this today because a lot of people out there be abandoning themselves, and I am a chronic self-abandoner, and it's definitely something that I'm here to help the collective move through. I don't know what that looks like fully yet, and this is not the first time I've come to this realization. The last time I had this realization was about 6-7 years ago, and here we are again after a long 6-7 years of having to learn this lesson all over again. So, okay. For those of you who don't know, in the last 3 or 4 years, I have lost my home multiple times. I gained a ridiculous amount of weight, almost 100 pounds. I gained 80 pounds. I fell sick with a mystery illness, which later turned out to be an array of multiple things: mold, stress, adrenal fatigue, the whole works. I've been forced to close down my practice and my business multiple times. I have been in chronic pain. I have had all sorts of mystery symptoms that do not even fit my mystery illnesses. I have had, I've been homeless for the last year. I've lived in a vehicle for half the year this year, jumping from place to place. And let me tell you, all of this is from self-abandonment. All of it. My illness, my sickness, my weight gain, my depression, my everything, all from self-abandonment. And I can say this with absolute confidence. See, life is always trying to get our attention. Sometimes it starts off as a whisper, other times a hello, and then a stern hello, and then eventually life just says, oh, fuck this bitch, and we'll whack you over the head with a 2x4. So here's the thing. You want to get good at listening to the whispers. And if I'm honest with myself, I heard the whispers the whole way through, but I thought that I could outsmart the whispers. And I'm going to tell you what that whisper is. That whisper is your higher self, it's spirit, it's God, it's the divine, however you want to label it. That thing is a higher intelligence. We can all agree on that. And that thing is always trying to lead you to the best possible scenarios, but it's our wounding and our conditioning that has us so desperately cling to everything it's wanting us to let go of, and in the process we abandon ourselves. So I have been in a relationship for the last 6 years. It's been the most profoundly healing, medicinal, beautiful, intimate, wonderful experience that I've ever had. And simultaneously, I abandoned the fucking shit out of myself. And I put up with certain behaviors and things that I shouldn't have. And that's not to paint this person out to be a bad person. This person is not a bad person. This person is also a human in their mess and in their unconscious shadows and on their own trajectory, moving at their own pace. And I was so naive as to think that I could quicken that pace, that I could accelerate the process so that I could keep them. But the truth is life didn't want me to keep them. The truth is that that person might have already served their purpose, which was this very healing, very medicinal lesson, experience. And I wanted to take this person with me because I loved them dearly and I knew that they loved me. But life had other plans. And because we were two different people moving in two different directions at two different rates of time, I was constantly trying to force a square peg into a round hole. I was spending so much of my life force energy to try to convince a person to love me differently, for them to grow faster, for them to be different. I was spending so much of my energy trying to fix and shift and change an individual so that they could meet me where I was going, because I so desperately wanted to keep them. And in that process, I abandoned myself time and time again. And each time I did that, life got harder and harder. And it made it more abundantly clear that I was off track. I have been more off track these last 3 or 4 years than when I was a meth smoking criminal loser who was in prison. That's saying a lot. And the reason I say that is because once you have such substantial growth from one identity to another, it's so much easier to see when you're out of alignment. I didn't know that I was out of alignment back then because I was so unconscious. But once you wake up and you become conscious of who you are and your actions and your thoughts and your patterns and your beliefs and everything else like that, it becomes very apparent when you're out of alignment, and your life will blow the fuck up. Your life will turn to shit real quick when you're out of alignment. And it's not doing that to punish you, it's doing that to get your attention. And life has been fucking screaming at me, you guys, screaming at me. And so this year, my partner and I finally decided to part ways. We finally decided that separation with no contact would be the best solution, because the truth is I'm very much so in love with this person still. I'm very much so addicted to them still. I'm very much so have hooks and hopes and dreams that need to die, that I need to let go, that I need to focus on what it is the good Lord is wanting me to focus on. In the process of self-abandonment, all sorts of things can occur, all to get your attention. Now, did I take these last 3 or 4 years to learn a fuck ton about life, to deepen my understanding of spirituality and the body and my specific craft? Totally. Did I learn a shitload? Yeah. But where would I be and what would have I learned differently if I would have actually listened to that thing? And the truth is it's all perfect, because through this very experience, I learned the importance of listening to that thing, of not deviating, of having a profound union with this thing, a relationship, a devotional practice with this thing. And so here's the thing. This thing, this divine thing, has been something I've been listening to the last few months, which is why I've been pretty quiet. And these last few months, what it has been telling me is that we're packing our bags and we're going somewhere. And I'm going on a trip out of country. I've sold everything that I own, and I am off on the open road, learning to listen to that thing, trust that thing, see where it takes me. It's something I've wanted to do since I was a child, so it's exciting and it's scary at the same time, because everything I own is going to be in 2 backpacks, and I am off on an adventure. So for those of you who watched, I no longer have a van. I did sell the van, which is great because I bought it for $7,000, sold it for $12,000. So now I have some nice pocket change while I go on an adventure of a lifetime. What does it mean to me to not abandon myself? What I've learned over the years is taking care of my body. I can quickly tell when I'm out of alignment, when I'm not taking care of my body anymore, when I'm not eating the right foods, when I'm not brushing my teeth, when I'm not showering, when I'm not exercising, when I'm not doing those things. That's the first sign that something's out of alignment. That's the whisper. Next is when I start chasing people. I start chasing experiences, with this like gripping sensation of I gotta have it, I gotta fix it, I gotta change it, I gotta make it happen, I gotta. And there's a lot of control. And so for me, loving myself and not abandoning myself is making sure that I'm taking care of my physical body and that I'm actively asking myself, why am I holding on to this thing? Why am I clinging? Why am I grasping? Why am I chasing? If I'm doing that a lot, then it's time to check in with myself. Not staying longer than necessary. Not staying longer than what my body, you guys, the body is such a barometer. I can't even begin to express to you how much the body is a barometer. And I love that because it's B&B, body barometer. The body is a barometer. I'll give you an example. So, my neck this year and my shoulder has started to get this like weird pain anytime I would be getting too energetically intermingled with my ex-partner, and it would hurt. My whole life I've not ever been somebody to get a sore back or to have issues like that. And this year I noticed when we would get too energetically close, too physically close, and spend too much time together, my body would really hurt. Because this year we decided to live separately. And so that gave my body a chance to like breathe. And when we would spend too much time together, I would get this like soreness, this stiffness that really, really hurt. And although we're in a no contact situation right now, I did send them an apology letter about a week ago, and they responded yesterday. And although it was beautiful and I was laughing the whole time, I cried, and it was this like wonderful thing to read. I felt so good after. Immediately after, upon reading it, I started to get that pain again. And it is like so pain. I hardly slept last night because the pain was so bad. And this is what I mean when I say the body is a barometer. There's something happening there, right? So when we take a look at like the shoulder and underneath the shoulder blade, which is where it hurts, it's linked to the heart. When there's a pain there, it can be old grief coming up. It can be the body going into a protective tension, wanting to protect itself, protect the heart. As we curl inwards, we're protecting our inner organs. There could be many reasons, but the body is a barometer. And my body has given me so many signals multiple times over these years that maybe me and this partner were out of alignment. I don't want to say that we weren't meant to be. I think we very much so in many ways are meant to be and could be. But I think that there's a lot of things that need to shift for both of us in order for that to be a thing. And the body was speaking and I was not listening. So using the body as a barometer for whether or not you want to check in with, are you abandoning yourself? What is your body telling you? And this takes practice and a lot of time to listen to those cues, because sometimes the mind creates silly stories that aren't true, which then have the body react and act irrationally sometimes, and because the stories are irrational. So it takes time to develop a depth of understanding with that, but that's what it is for me. And so, yeah, I just wanted to share this with you guys because I will probably be popping on a lot more again, and I'm really excited about that. I'll obviously be sharing from different places on my travels and sharing inspirational stuff as it wants to come through, and finally starting just to own a more real and authentic version of myself with no filter. So yeah, before I get too rambly and this gets too long, I think I'll leave it there. So stay tuned because this bitch is going on some adventures. Okay, bye.